Welcome to the Siim Land podcast. I'm your host Siim Land, and our guest today is Andzei. Andzei is a director and videographer with who I made a documentary movie called Stronger by Stress. Stronger by Stress is based on one of my books with the same name and talks about how to become more resilient and healthier through hormesis. Andy, welcome to the show.
Hey Siim, how are you?
I'm doing good. It's great to have you on the podcast, and you're the, let's say, mastermind behind the new movie that we're releasing together, and where I'm also being casted. Maybe before we start to talk about the movie, let's start with why did you approach me in terms of wanting to create a movie together, and let's start with that.
I've been interested in health. I would even say it's like one of my hobbies. I was just like following all your podcasts and also other biohackers podcasts and stuff, and reading books. And I just realized that pretty much everyone who is 30 or older usually is interested in health in some way or another, but not everyone has time to listen to, 4 or 5 hours of podcast per day. But I had, for some reason, or I was more interested into that. So there is the information is out there. Like even in this film, you won't learn anything new or exclusively new. You can get this information out there, but it just like takes a lot of time to find people who you can trust. And so I thought I could save a lot of time for a lot of people by putting all this wisdom into 1.5 hours, so that was my main motivation to do this film.
Yeah. We actually met first time maybe 2 years before starting the movie, when you actually came one of my retreats, and then we first met the first time, and then you approached me again in 2020 to make this movie. So now it's been almost a year and a half in the making, or almost 2 years, and it's going to be released the first time on iTunes on March 8th, and it's also going to be coming out on other platforms across the world, so Europe and North America and everywhere.
That's correct. Yeah.
Right, but maybe I'll just show the trailer.
The roots of the stress are in the culture. It's just go, 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 go. And many of us get caught in that trap where we sort of want to out-hustle or outperform. We have to be productive all the time. Well, chronic stress, that's kind of like a disease or a plague.
My mind made me sick. I pushed myself over my own limits.
Negative stress is something that breaks things down, while the beneficial stress that makes you grow challenges you enough so that you actually get to your peak performance.
You're not only seeking help when you get sick. You actually create your resilience to different kind of challenges that we are facing as a humanity, but also in your personal life.
Technically speaking, everybody's a biohacker. Everyone's performing biohacks on a daily basis, whether they know it or not. Drinking a coffee in the morning, that's kind of biohacking. Caffeine to stimulate you, to wake you up and get you in this more active state and be alert and show focus.
Individually, it is the way of living. Collectively, it is the preventive healthcare system.
All the available tools that we can use from nature, from science, from technology, from all kinds of possible ways that we can enhance our self-consciousness.
It's kind of sad that most people don't ever truly get to understand how amazing their bodies are and what they're capable of.
We can live in the desert, we can live in the Arctic, we can live in the rainforest. So that's been, I think, one of the biggest reasons to our success as a species so far.
Physiologically, we've been actually domesticating ourselves.
We are basically looking at diversity and how that supports resilience and your health.
Just to be able to feel good, you need to pay attention to several things at once. Eating better, sleeping better, moving constantly.
stressors and environmental disasters, they're not going to go away. They're going to keep happening, and we can't really avoid them. The only thing we can do is to keep ourselves more resilient, keep ourselves more adaptable, and to prepare for those things in advance.
Okay, all right. So that was the trailer, and yeah, like I said, the full movie is going to be like an hour and a half. We had actually a lot more material that like almost, how much was the total, let's say, content? Maybe like 2.5 hours or?
Yeah, I think edited one is like same amount, so 1.5 hours. But we recorded obviously like, I don't know, 70 hours in total or something. So a lot of good stuff out there. Yeah.
Yeah. How long did it take you to, because this is only like us two working on it. Like it's not like it's a very small indie project, and it's you are doing like most of the, let's say, content creation, and I was doing like the script or the ideas of what we talk about, and organizing the people and that kind of thing. So how long did usually takes to like edit this kind of movie for you, because you do it like as a professional thing as well for like other things?
Yeah, I mean, this particular project was, I think it was like 8 months of editing, but it's like 8 months, 12 hours a day, every day. So like usually when people say how long it takes like to edit, they take into like they take weekends off and stuff. So, but with the biohacking, you don't really need to rest. You can optimize yourself, and you can just work quite a lot and still recover for the next day, and you don't really need weekends. So yeah, it was like I would say like 8 months approximately, probably doable in 6, but yeah.
Yeah, did you use any like supplements or any hacks to improve your productivity?
Yeah, I tried all kinds of stuff, but I had this Quali Mind next to my laptop, but like it's so powerful that I use it only when I really need it. So I find like natural things, like I don't know, going out for the walk, or just lifting heavy stuff, or just even like a short meditation works like really good for the productivity. And editing is like it's quite special in a way that it's quite easy to be focused, because you just go into this tunnel vision, you don't see anything, and you can just edit like forever without distractions, basically. So it's not really hard to focus on editing.
Gotcha. Yeah. But the title is like Stronger by Stress, of how not to be in chronic stress and how to use these positive stressors. But did you get ever like stressed out from making the movie?
Yeah, but to the like a healthy degree, I would say. I mean, it's just like when you do something like this, you constantly doubt yourself, and you don't really know. And for me, the hardest, I think it's for most of the directors, the hardest thing is to just look at this with the fresh eyes, like for example, I thought like the film was done in 3 months. I really thought like it's done, and then I just took like a couple of days off and watched it, and I realized it's so bad. I need to work so hard on it. So these things are the hardest, just to look at it. Okay, this is what we have, and it's not perfect. Let's make it good.
Yeah, well, maybe like it's different for the director, who has like a more perfectionist outlook, and a very like like you're looking at it as this more than a regular person would. Whereas like the people that I have talked to, and all the like other cast of the movie, they say that it's very good, and I also agree that it's really great. It's very like engaging, and it's definitely not boring, and teaches you information at the same time, but it's also like visually very beautiful and appealing, and the information is also like really good.
Yeah, I think eventually we did a good job, and that's why we got actually such a wide distribution worldwide. Because if it was just like a home video, it would be really like, it would probably end up on YouTube or something. But now it's gonna go everywhere. So yeah, it was worth the effort.
Yeah. What were like the main things that you learned, or did you learn anything new from this?
Yeah, I actually learned a bunch of things. It just like general idea is that you don't really need much, to feel happy and I don't know, stay healthy. All these things are like natural. I mean, most of the stuff you can do, you don't really need to buy anything, right? I mean, supplements are nice, but you don't really need them if you like I don't know, eat liver and all other whole foods. So yeah, it was for me. It was just like a constant reminder that it's really easy to go to I don't know Amazon or somewhere and start buying stuff because I don't know somebody told you to buy, but this is just 5%. Like 95% you can do just with the natural stuff.
Yeah. So the movie, I'll just maybe do a little synopsis of the idea. So the title "Stronger by Stress" comes from one of my books, Stronger by Stress, and the reason why we chose this topic was because of when we started to think about making a movie in 2020, then let's say the pandemic had just started. It was the first months of the pandemic, and that was the reason why I started to write a book as well, to just prepare people for these kinds of inevitable disasters or events that are like unpredictable and chaotic and have like huge consequences on everyone. So you can't really avoid those kind of things. They will have happen eventually. Like humans have always suffered from different kinds of stressors in their environment, and we can't even avoid them in the modern world either. And to not become like this optimistic, blindly optimistic, or this very positive thinker that think there's nothing bad can happen. Instead of that, we want to teach the idea of becoming stronger by the stressors and using your everyday habits and lifestyle to prepare your body and mind in advance for those things, so that when they do happen, you would be like just stronger and more resilient against them. And that involves different kinds of obviously exercise and saunas and colds, but also just let's say psychological traits of being mentally flexible and being able to manage your stress, and knowing what is good stress, what is bad stress, and creating this lifestyle and creating this environment for yourself that helps you to be healthier and more adaptable generally.
Yeah, it's like if you think like no one can avoid the stress. I mean, we all experience it. So why not leverage it and learn about it?
Yeah. I'll also talk about maybe the cast. I'll share the screen again just to give an introduction to the people in there. So obviously first it's gonna be me. I'll talk like different types, mostly like fasting and exercise and those kind of things. Then we have Teemu Arina from Finland, who is one of the authors of the Biohackers Handbook and the curator of the Biohacker Summit, who's also been into this kind of things for many years. Dr. Olli Savijärvi, also author of the Biohackers Handbook and a medical doctor in the past. He was Lee Evin, who's a Wim Hof method expert and breathwork instructor. He does ice swimming and those kind of things. He talks a lot about the cold and how you can use that to your advantage. We have Inka Immonen, who is a master's in neuropsychology. She talks about just mental resilience and meditation and just like the psychological aspect of stress. We have Jaakko Halmetsa, who is the third author of the Biohackers Handbook, nutrition expert and just very philosophical thinker. And Kaspars Vendelis, who's from Latvia. He is also basically like a more everyday biohacker and talks a lot about different kinds of ways to use stressors, these hormesis and positive stressors for longevity. And we have Eduard de Wilde, who's I don't know his age, maybe he's like in his 50s or 60s, and he talked about like the let's say work-related stress and business-related stress, of how you can just balance that with your home and lifestyle. So we have obviously a few additional people, but this is the main cast of who are going to share their information. And the reason why we chose them is obviously because we're friends with them, and we're also they're close by. Like we planned on having a lot more different people across the world, like the US or but obviously because of the pandemic we weren't able to travel that easily. So but the Finland border was still open, and we basically recorded all of this in Finland, Estonia, and you also went to Latvia with Kasparas for a moment. So yeah, it's a very local, it's a Nordic Nordic, Estonian, and Finland type movie.
Yes, indeed.
But maybe let's briefly also talk about you. So like what got you into biohacking and health?
I don't know. I was just like always interested in health, but I haven't been particularly healthy all the time. I just like to make some experience, like experience different things. And but the main reason why I just like started to like the biohacking, like as you said, like we met 2 years before the film, and Kaspars, who is also one of our heroes in the film, he actually mentioned like, oh, there's one like really young, really smart dude in your country. You should get in touch and blah blah blah. So I went to your summit or get together, and it was just amazing to see all these people who have different backgrounds but think same things and want to achieve same things, and then you take something like really like basic like fasting and stuff, and it has just such a great impact on your health and life that I don't know why not everyone is doing it. But mostly I think why they don't do it, because they don't really have enough information, because it's still considered as starving or something really extreme to do, but we have these primal bodies which are really used to do for this kind of stuff, just our environment is not suitable for this to naturally happen. So you need to force it into your life, but it has like really positive effect. So like biohacking is amazing in that way.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and when we did record, then obviously you being learning from me or looking at information and following some similar practices, then we did have like a pretty easy time with all the things. Like sometimes, well, at least we recorded in like the late November or October, was it, in one of the summits. It was like pretty cold outside, but we like neither of us was like we didn't care about it either, and we were just doing it recorded. And in between the sets we were doing like some jumping jacks or a little bit, but on the screen maybe it doesn't show, or even like with Olli Sovier as well, when we recorded with him, then he was also doing like squats in between a little bit sometimes, because it got eventually too cold. But obviously, like if it were to be some sort of big non-biohacker movie, then most of the, let's say, actors or heroes wouldn't have wanted to do something in the cold. But for us, we actually, if you're talking about all the benefits of cold and resilience and stress, then obviously we have to also embrace it or live up to it. So it's kind of fun. Like, and the same with like fasting and eating. Like we didn't usually eat that often during the daytime, and most of us, even if we were here in my home recording, then we ate once a day as well, and it was like really good good flow, and a good way to see that it has a positive effect on us, at least.
Yeah, to be honest, I wish like all the film crew out there was like full of biohackers, because you can't imagine how much energy, hustle, and time goes into planning. Like if you have like a shooting day, like usually it's like 10 hours capped, but it includes the breakfast, the lunch, and the dinner, and all kinds of like, there's so many different rules. Like you have to have like huge breaks in between the shooting days and stuff. So basically, when we do movies and commercials, we always have to take into the account, because people are used to having like 3 meals or even more, like 4 or 5 meals a day. But if they knew how their bodies actually work, we could produce so much more in shorter time, and everyone would be home earlier and have more time for free time, but it's really hard to 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 that's why I think this movie might help quite a lot of people, so they just look at it and hopefully will learn something and try experimenting.
Yeah, is there something like some biohacks that don't work for you, or that you've tried but you can't seem to make work?
Yeah, like some gadgets, which some people say like, oh, it's really good, but for me, I don't really see the difference. So with the technology, I'm now a bit skeptical, especially if they cost like a significant amount of money. I mean, it's nice. Sometimes it's nice, but the benefit you get is like just 2% or something. And also some things like some things are working, they're nice, but they're just not convenient, or just too much hustle to do, then I just relax in those places, like for example, I have these uh, blue light blocking glasses. They're really nice, they block, I feel the effect, but each time I wear them I hit my head somewhere, and once I almost broke the nose, and I almost got under the car, so it's like they're like they're too much, so I need to get the other version, which is which makes my so I see more. So yeah, like those things, but mostly all the basic stuff, it works, and yeah, I love it.
Yeah, still like the best thing or most powerful thing is still like exercise and maybe saunas and cold and those fasting maybe.
And sleep is actually the basis of everything. So yeah, if you don't sleep, you like
yeah. All right, well, but yeah, let's talk a little bit about like, overview again, like where can people get it, where can they watch it from, and yeah, some of maybe like the release dates that are in the near future.
Yeah, so on March 8th, it will be released on iTunes. Right now, it's on a pre-sale, so you already can book it. But from March 8th, it's going to be on iTunes, also on Vimeo, and all kinds of other video on demand platforms nationwide in US and Canada. In Europe, it's going to go countries by countries, and the rest of the world as well. So we're looking for different partners, because usually you have to have a local partner to release a movie. So obviously there are lots of countries in the world, so we haven't reached out to everywhere, but I would say that from March, pretty much everyone who wants to watch it will find it. Maybe not in the beginning, but from mid-March, you can see it online for sure everywhere. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. And film festivals.
Yeah, we submitted to the film festivals. We actually got already one award from the Brussels Film Festival.
Really?
But we'll see. Yeah. I'll send you the link later. But yeah, the other festivals are happening towards the end of the year more. We did actually different kind of approach. Usually, when people get done with the movie, they do a festival circuit. So they spend a year in the festivals, sending to the festivals and hopefully getting invited and attending them, and only then they release to the public. But I thought like maybe this time let's release to the public first and then go for the festivals, because the information is good, and let's try to help as many people as we can as soon as possible, and not keep it to ourselves.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. Yeah, that's awesome. Any other films like in the future plan to making?
Yeah, there are like a bunch of different ideas. It's just like it's so committing, like for me it's like 1 year basically of life or something. So before I commit to something, I just want to make sure that it's gonna be worth it. This time it was quite easy. I mean, there was a book. It was really good. Obviously people want to read it, and let's translate this book into the film. So yeah,
sounds good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, obviously it's also good to not always create, but also to spread it and basically promote it to people so they can see it and not always get stuck in like the creation cycle.
Yeah. But I wanted to ask you actually, how did you expect I mean, what did you learn maybe from filmmaking? Because for you, it was probably the first time you were part of like a bigger filmmaking project. What was different from your expectations?
Well, I mean, it was pretty easy. There's gonna be like a huge, maybe like it's huge effect on things like color grading and basically editing the sound and all those things. It has a huge impact on the actual outcome or the outlook of the scenes or what you're doing. So initially, when you are recording in some sort of like a cold lakeside in Finland, and the end result looks like completely different and feels also very different. Feels very warm, the movie, and feels very like cozy in some sense. Whereas when you are actually recording, then it's may not be that. But yeah, I think it definitely, you have like such a very very good and unique way of editing, of making it very like almost like an action movie, or because the film it's not like some regular boring documentary. It's a very fast, it's not like super crazy fast that you can't keep up with, but it does have like a good way of keeping the viewer engaged and keeping the basically story entertaining while being interesting at the same time. So I think maybe that was a tool that I learned more of. How can I incorporate that into, from the information side, I basically knew almost everything from that. But I think like even let's say there's gonna be like still some nuggets of information for even like more, let's say, advanced biohackers who already think they know that they know everything. But there's still gonna be some good information from there for everyone from all sides. It's not super difficult. It's not super beginner. It's kind of oscillates back between like advanced information and basic information quite easily, so that you get everything.
Yeah, even now, like when I've watched this film from beginning till end, like at least 70 times. So even now, if I watch it for the technical reasons, it's not like I need to watch it, but I just need to make sure that it's all good. And even still, I learn every time at least something every time I watch it, not because I didn't know it, I just kind of forget, because there's like biohacking we cover so many things in the film, basically all the basic things. And it's just like, you may like, if you like exercise, you may know a lot about the exercising, but you may miss something else, and if you watch this film, just a reminder, yeah, sure, I should be, I don't know, blocking my blue light more or something,
Yeah. Right. Well, yeah. So strongbystress.com is the website if you want to check out the trailer or the links to the platforms, as well as contact information. Where can people learn more about you and your work?
Yeah, I have a website. It's called Andzei.com, basically my first name. And I also have Instagram, same Andzei.director. And those are two main channels.
Awesome. We're going to put all the links in the show notes. And my last question that I ask everyone is that what's this one piece of advice or habit that you wish you had adopted sooner?
Start early with your health or finances or whatever you want to achieve. You just don't wait, just start early.
Nice. Yeah, definitely good information, good advice. All right, it was good talking with you, and we're definitely gonna be working again in the future as well.
Yeah, man, it was good to talk to you.